This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Okay, ready to go.
I'll call the meeting to order for Tuesday, January 17th of Maple Elementary School Building Committee. We have a quorum. Thank you all. Under old business, we have minutes from our last meeting of September 27th. You should have all received a copy. Thanks, Deb, very much. Are there any questions, additions, deletions to the minutes? If none, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Michael, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all very much.
I'm going to abstain because I wasn't here.
Thank you. Public comment. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on an item that is not on the agenda?
No, no one's here.
Thank you. Okay, financial update. Adam, Tim, it's all yours.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. Oh,
Wait a minute.
okay, yep.
I am slacking today. All right, try.
Yeah, it's been a while since our last meeting. All right, I assume you can see it.
Adam, you need to make it bigger.
Oh, boy, okay.
This is
How's that?
an ongoing discussion we have.
That's good.
Do we need to maximize,
Yes, you got
maximize
that.
it on that? So
All right, so it's just a quick financial update. So far, if we're looking at the construction line item here, Fontaine, we have 17 change orders to date with Fontaine, with a total contract value of $88,135,000, just over that. We have about I believe it's just over $1 million left on their contract to be paid. And then FF&E, we're just about at $3 million with the FF&E. I got the spreadsheet, Michael, from you the other day just to kind of go back and check ours as well. So we are pretty close. There was a couple items that I'll talk with you about if they should fall into that FF&E or if they should go into another category. So, but we're extremely close. So right around $3 million for the FF&E. Contingency. Right now, we're holding about $372,000 in contingency items. 135 of that, again, is still with the COVID brick delay from Fontaine. So those are still pending right now. And then outside of that, so as I mentioned in kind of previous meetings, we're going around. As the project gets closer to completion, we're going to be kind of closing out some of the line items that we had, at least budgetary-wise, or at least reducing them. So we did go ahead and do that to a few different items, and right now the $732,000 is where we have kind of our remaining overall balance to the project budget. Again, that's outside of these items that we're holding for contingency pending items. So we're still in good shape. We're still doing well, which is great. Any questions on the financial budget?
So Adam, what would be the number we are under budget right now as of this point in time?
Well, so if I'm holding 372, like I said, not all those will actually go through, but it's about, and then also, I'm sorry, up in FF&E, there's still, we reduced this by quite a bit, but it's still 300,000. So, you know, right now it's about $1 million, I would say. If we don't use the rest of the kind of planned but not contracted funds, you know, kind of budget holder placeholders that we've had in place.
Yep. So if the project ended today and all the I's were dotted and T's were crossed, we could legitimately say we were, again, I'm just snapshot point in time, we could say we were $1 million under budget.
Yeah, that would be accurate. If we were to kind of theoretically end right now and close everything out. Yes.
Okay.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Other questions for Adam? Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Next item on the agenda is the change order 225 for an additional gym scoreboard. Allison, I don't know if you had some information on that. I'm not even sure.
I think Adam has it up there.
Adam?
Yeah, I have it up here. Yeah, this is it here. So this is the PCO that was brought forth, kind of generating. I can't remember who from the committee brought this up last time we met, but it's something that we went to Fontaine with to get some pricing, at least to kind of bring it back to the committee and see if this is something that you would want to pursue. So we did get pricing, and I'll have Bert jump in a little bit on this, but we did receive pricing. It was reviewed. It's obviously a change order price, but it's based on, where we are in construction and completion, all that stuff. It does seem fair. But Bert, I'll let you give any input on at least your review of it.
Yeah, so just to remind people, I think it was Deb that brought it up, but the request was for a second scoreboard inside the building in the gym. So it'd be basically on the opposite wall from where the current scoreboard is. And really, as Adam mentioned, it's because these walls are all finished, things are in place, they're coming back now, they're not mobilized anymore. That's what really drives the cost up to the almost $20,000 to add this scoreboard.
The initial one was, I think, about 6 or 7. We checked the initial.
Yeah, considerably less money.
Yeah.
But there's a premium for them coming back now. They've got to run the circuits back to find pathways. And the gym's a difficult space because it's a double volume space. So it's not like they're just poking above a ceiling and running the stuff. They've got to get up high with the conduits. They've got to go back through the walls and then find the nearest panel to tie this into. And there's also connections within the gym that we've got to get to that are, at the scorer's table and everything like that. So.
Yeah, then even on top of that, you have floor protection. You got to bring in. They have to bring in the lift, all that kind of stuff. You want to make sure that you're protecting everything.
Yeah. So I've been in the space. I think one of the early complaints was that it was difficult to see the scoreboard. But they were also looking for it if they had the wall down and they had, some younger kids on one side of the wall with basketball, and then you could keep a score on another side for definitely younger players because they wouldn't be using the full court. But to us, it seemed like a premium, but it's not our gym. So if this is the desire, the pricing is probably fair for where we are in the construction right now. But it's substantially more than it would have been if it had just been part of the project.
Right.
So this is within my wheelhouse of approval, but I just didn't feel as though I wanted to approve something that was going to be at a premium, as Bert mentioned, when I think that if you want to achieve having the ability to have the wall down and have games being played on the other side, you can buy a portable scoreboard for, between $500 and $1,000, you could probably get something very nice. So this seemed a little, I didn't want to be the one to say yes or no to this. I wanted to bring it back to the committee because Deb from the committee is the one that brought it forward. But my recommendation would be that we just explore getting a portable one for that side.
Cindy?
Sorry, I had to unmute. I agree with Dr. Leclerc. I've seen the portable ones, and I think that they work really well. And for the amount of use and need that we're going to have for that, I think 19,000 just is huge, and far more than we need to spend when there are portable ones. You have one on the wall, which is clearly visible most of the time. And then you have the portable.
Any other discussion, questions, comments? Would someone like to make a motion? So do we make
I'll make a motion that we do not get a second scoreboard installed at a premium rate, and that we get a portable one instead. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just go ahead, John.
I think all motions need to be made in the positive.
Yeah.
And then we all
So
vote
we'll take that piece out.
I'll second that motion, Cindy, please.
Can we just make a motion to get a portable school board?
Yeah. Why don't we do it that way?
Sure.
So I'll make a motion that we get a portable scoreboard to facilitate the other side being able to see.
And I'll still second that.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to acquire a portable scoreboard for the gym. Any further discussion? All in favor? Allison, I can't say. Could you bring it back up,
I
Allison?
can't. Adam, turn off your screen so we can see everybody, please. Thank you. Hands up, people, if you approve. Okay.
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you very much. Punch list update. Ern, is that you?
That will be me. So at this point, our office has completed our full punch list on the building. Fontaine has gone back and they recently handed back to us what they call the back punch. So they've gone through and they've addressed a number of the items. There's a handful of items that still are not addressed on it, which they acknowledge when they send it back to us. And they've monetized that. The value of the incomplete stuff that they acknowledge, as far as their monetization goes, is just under $75,000. It's a variety of things. Some of it's aesthetic issues, some that we have, some of it's just typical knick-knack cleanup things, and then there's some, a handful of closeout items that we don't have yet as far as documentation and paperwork and things like that. So the next step on the punch list would be for our office to both review the monetization that Fontaine's assigned to the open items, make sure that we agree with the value that they've assigned for these items, and then to go back and double check the full punch list that we created to make sure that the work they say is completed has actually been completed to our satisfaction. And that, we'll note and make sure that we agree with the open items. So that's the next step for us, and that effort will probably start early in February. Probably the week of February vacation will be a good time for us to get back in when we can spend a lot of time in the building without interrupting classes.
Has the issue that happened early on with the roof, has that been resolved?
Which issue?
When it was leaking?
We still do have some roof leaks. Larry is probably more familiar with exactly where they are, but I get it. I'll get an email or a text, once a month or something that a leak might have popped up someplace, which that's fairly common, and we're in the warranty period, so that as we go through this first year or so in the building, we'll probably see some of these, and Fontaine's been pretty quick to come out and respond to them. There's a larger roof issue that we're looking at, which doesn't have to do with any water getting into the building, but we've got water running down the face of the building at locations where we've got seams in the metal edge that's around the perimeter of the roof. Fontaine has done one mock-up of that I wasn't satisfied with what they were proposing to correct the issue with. So they're going back to the drawing board and coming up with something else, and they should have another mock-up for me to look at. They haven't notified me when that will be ready, but I would suspect within this month sometime I would be able to see that.
And does any repair work to the roof because of leaks, does that also cover any interior damage that might occur?
It would, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Pat, you had your hand up.
You asked my question. I was just going to ask if there were any interior, due to the leaks, were there any interior things that were damaged, and have those items been replaced or whatever it may be?
I don't think we've had any interior damage either. It's like we'll see a wet spot on the floor or something in the nurse's office. I don't even know that, the first thing you might see is like ceiling tiles, but we've got different ceiling types in there. So it's not even ceiling tile everywhere that you'd see the kind of yellow stain on where there's a drip above and coming through. So,
okay.
But if that were to occur, if you got drywall damage or a ceiling tile, that would obviously get swapped out and replaced as part of the repair.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And what's that warranty period you're referring to, Bert, and from what date?
It's 1 year from the date of substantial completion of the whole building here. So we have not written that substantial completion yet, although there's really no significant reason to not write substantial completion at this point.
Occupied, can that justify substantial completion?
Not necessarily.
Okay. So
There's still, I'll tell you, Larry brought it up. One of the major concerns I have with substantial completion, and one of the reasons we haven't done it yet, is that we want Larry to have full control of the building management system, which means he can, if somebody complains about a cold room, he can go to his computer, turn it on, see what the actual temperatures are in the room, where the valve positions are, how much air is coming in, what the outside air temperature, he can look at all that stuff, and he should be able to adjust those controls and kind of tweak the room to get it back to comfortable. And he does not have that control yet. So.
just in that case, you're not substantial.
They're complete that they can occupy it, but we still need the contractor's help to correct these situations. It's not something Larry can do without them, so as long as they're needed.
So the 1 year warranty period hasn't started yet.
It has not started yet.
I love that.
So.
Good.
Around that 1 year period, or the warranty is separate issue. So, the roadway that needed the fix is still pooling pretty substantially.
I will look at that.
And huh?
Mm-hmm. I said I will look at that tomorrow, this week when I go out and see. I've got to kind of time it with weather when I'm on site, but especially since you mentioned it, I'll make a specific effort to try to see that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for Bert? Just as an aside, I thought of when the mayor mentioned roadway, if you've seen it online, the piece of land that Williston owned right next to the driveway is now on the market for sale. And actually, it's being marketed as a building lot, encouraging someone to sit. That would be a great spot for a home.
$149,000.
Did you look it up?
$149,000, but it's a 4-acre lot. Some of it's wet, I assume, but it's interesting. I guess Williston has gone away from their plan to put solar there. So if anyone wants a house right next to school.
Does that do anything with the agreements or whatever we had as far as the easements for doing anything there? Will that impact anything? Just out of curiosity.
I'm probably not an expert, Pat, but I would think that there's really no easements. It was a land swap.
Okay.
That I'm aware of, so I don't think that would impact anything that we did or plan to do. We don't really have plans for that site other than what we needed for the roundabout.
I would like to.
Okay. Yeah, I just couldn't remember if there was easements or if there was, agreements. I just want to make sure we're good there.
Yeah, Pat, I can triple check with the attorney just to check that box off.
I'd hate to see something pop up when they sell it, and then they're like, "Oh, by the way, you can't come here to do whatever," whatever the case may be.
Okay, next item is. Cindy.
I just wanted to let you know, I just got a text from Mayor, and he says the Zoom link isn't working for him. Could somebody send him a new one again?
Yeah.
So I just want to interject. I apologize for being very late, and I had umpteen amounts of trouble with the Zoom link as well. I just couldn't get in, so I apologize. So I'm on my phone and accessing that way because it just occurred to me I could do that. So I guess I'm a little slow. Anyway, I just wanted to apologize for being so late. And I also just wanted to ask, I assume someone is taking the minutes currently?
Sure.
So two things. One is being recorded, and Deb, we did vote on something that you had proposed. We should probably fill her in on that.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. We did not vote to approve the additional scoreboard. It came in at a bid of around $19,000 to do it.
Yeah.
But we did approve for the school department to purchase a portable scoreboard that could be used.
So I don't mean to derail the meeting. It's probably not appropriate for me to be asking all these questions at this point, but I'm just curious as to why it was rejected.
The cost, primarily the cost of $19,000. The original scoreboard that went in, Deb, was $6,000. The cost goes way up because of all the work now having to be done in a completed room, if you will, and it's much more difficult to run the lines and get a lift in there and make sure you don't damage the floor and all that kind of stuff. And the bids came in. Bert's area reviewed them, substantiated them, if you will. They're legitimate bids for the cost of bringing the crew back in to do work, sort of aftermarket work, if you will.
Okay, I'm just disappointed. I guess also I just thought with a surplus of at our last meeting of 1.3 million that we could afford to do that, but I guess I'm just disappointed to hear that.
Yeah, I don't think it was a question of whether we could afford it or not. I think it was more a question of could we justify the cost? And I think the portable one, I think it serves its purpose. And Allison said she has seen some very nice ones out there for around $1,000.
Okay.
So hopefully that will serve the purpose, hopefully.
Okay, well, thank you all for your consideration.
Thank you.
So back to the question, is someone taking minutes currently?
I've jotted down like votes and who voted, who made motions and seconds, but as Pat said, we do have a recording of this that we could go back and look at.
So do you want me to take responsibility for that going forward?
I would love it if you would do that, yeah.
Okay, all right.
That's what she wanted. That's what she wanted, to be clear.
The one thing I just need to know, and I'm sorry I'm interrupting the whole meeting with this, but if someone could just tell me the start time of the meeting.
I vote too.
Thank you. I'll get the rest. Thank you.
I do have some notes, but I don't want to use them as like.
It's fine. I'll get it from the recording. It's fine.
Okay. Sorry, Deb.
Sorry to have interrupted everybody.
No problem. Next item on the agenda is there's a subcontractor violation we've been made aware of. And I think either Adam or Tim can speak to this. The reason we want the mayor was notified of this, city mayor, and we want to make sure the committee's aware of it because it could be a liability to the city eventually, but I'm not sure we get that far with it. But Tim or Adam, if you could explain it, that would be great.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so what I have up on the screen is the violation that was sent over to the city. This was sent from the Attorney General's office, and the subcontractor was Harold Brothers. They're one of the mechanical contractors, and it does list from 3/23/19 through 3/26 of 22, and it does list the Maple Elementary School. But after kind of reading through this a little bit more, it looks like that this is a notification that this violation happened on one of their projects, even though they list here that the project in here. I think they were just saying Harold Brothers who worked on this project. They do list the general contractor was Consigli Construction, and Consigli was not obviously the GC on this project. It was Fontaine. And so other projects Colliers is the OPM for and had Harold Brothers on it also received the same letter. I know Tim, he has a project or two outside of Easthampton that he received the same letter with the same violations, kind of notifying them of their failure to follow the prevailing wage laws. So the two that they got fined for was the failure to submit true and accurate certified payroll records to the awarding authority on a weekly basis. And the second was failure to pay proper overtime rates for the hours. So we do receive from all the subcontractors all the wage reports from them. We do, through Michael, send off the updated wage rates and all that stuff. So really what we see this as, if the If somebody were to come to us and say, can you supply any of the wage rates that were sent over to you, the prevailing wage reports for Halo Brothers, can you do that? And we do have a file that every subcontractor, we have a separate folder for electronically that we can easily enough send over, all these to, because we've been receiving them on a weekly basis.
So Adam, do we know if this violation actually happened on our project?
That we don't know. Like I said, it was multiple projects. I think they sent it out to anybody where Hale Brothers was a filed sub bid between these two dates, and sent it off to them just as notification.
So
that's on any project.
Would we get any kind of clarification from anyone that it is not in fact a violation? That, I mean, if I was the mayor and got this, I guess I'd be a little nervous, but is there any way we get any clarification that it does not pertain to our project?
I don't know, Tim, would you know if
I guess we could reach out to the AG's office and just, get clarification. But as Adam said, I got this exact same letter forwarded to me from a different client. Consigli was still listed as the GC, which Consigli was not the GC on that job either. But as Adam says, I think this is just letting you know that, hey, one of the people on your project was fined or, had an issue on another project. And it's just kind of reminding you, the district, of your responsibilities as far as it goes to certified payroll. I would also point out that the amount of the fine, is pretty minor. So it seems, I don't know if there's limitations on what they're allowed to fine a contractor, but I would imagine if this was something significant, the fines would be much, much greater than this.
Mike?
I just say that just to add, the contractor or the vendor in this case followed up with a letter to the city. I received a copy of it. Not sure if it went to the mayor's office, but they are.
I did. I was just looking for it.
They are disputing the decision or the information in this attorney general's letter. For what it's worth.
Okay.
So are they saying, Michael, that it is in fact?
They're disputing what's in this letter from the attorney general. They are stating that they have not substantially violated the wage rate laws.
Okay.
That the attorney general is mistaken.
Okay. Tim, or Adam, could you just bring that down so we can see everybody?
Yep.
Again, we wanted to make sure the committee was aware of this. Mayor, anything else you want to say about this?
No, I mean, it's pretty standard notification, and I sent it to Attorney Tanner. I did get the email from the sub saying that this wasn't affected our project and that they were disputing it with the AG. I haven't heard back from the AG, but Attorney Tanner is keeping an eye on it. As far as liability to the city, it certainly does exist. And my speculative statement on that would be, if it were to come to the city, that we would contact our insurance company and have them pursue and represent us in that matter.
Okay. Any other questions on that? Any other business any member would like to discuss?
I'd just like to, and maybe you said something before, how is the maintenance building coming? I just haven't driven down in the school. I just haven't been down there in a couple weeks. So I just was wondering how that portion is going. Is it all set, done? What's up?
We're probably 95% done, I would say. I saw them working on some repairs to the outside. There's an issue with the water bubbler, and they're still connecting the HVAC system to the main building. I think that's about where we stand.
Okay. What about the sign up front? There's a sign, I know there's a sign up at the front entrance. Is that up and running, or do we have an idea when that's going to be up and running?
It's on us right now, the school department, making the final connection through IT. And then our staff just needs to go through the training. Okay. But I'm anticipating we should be able to get it done this week.
Okay. was just curious. I can't think of anything else good or interesting.
Okay, I know our meetings have been sporadic and we really pushed for this January meeting just because we hadn't met for about 3 months, I think. So we have a February 28th placeholder. I don't know for a fact. I'll wait to hear as we get closer from Tim or Adam or Bert to see if it requires a meeting. I'll let you know as soon as we know. But for now, our next meeting is scheduled for February 28th.
Did think of one thing.
Go ahead, Al.
I'm sorry. I know it's like sneaking it in as we're trying to close it out, but
Go ahead. We're still on time.
the chargers, the EV chargers, are they up and running? What's the scoop there?
No, they're not up and running.
A couple parents that have asked me, and they're curious. So.
I think, I don't know the exact figure, someone else might be able to tell me, but they're over $8,000 to like turn on.
Okay.
So we don't have the budget to do that. We have no budget built for that, so.
Guess I'm confused as to what that means, so we'll have to dig further.
Yeah,
it's not part of the, it's something separate. I just don't understand the process. That's all.
If I think I can answer that, if you want me to try.
Sure.
Yeah.
My understanding is that the cost of turning them on and making them available in its entirety can't be recaptured by the fee that you charge people to use them, that there's a gap between what it costs and what you can recapture if you set the rates at the same as the other ones in town of somewhere around $9,000 to $12,000. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's about the number.
Yes.
So where can we find the money to do that, or did we just put them there for show? Not to be like that guy, but like I've had people ask me, they're picking up their kids, hey, I could charge for a few minutes.
I think what might be confusing, Pat, for me too, is I guess the project paid to install them, but the project's not going to pay to turn them on.
Okay.
That was a question.
Can the project pay to turn them on?
No.
Okay.
So
If the city owns them, then the city has to turn them on?
The city owns them, but
School
it's
owns
not
them.
our electric system. The electricity is out there by the school department. So the school department's going to have them turned on.
So the school department needs to decide to turn them on?
Yes.
Out of curiosity, was that fee to turn them on, is that a reoccurring fee or is that like a one-time fee?
Recurring. That shortfall is an estimate of what the annual shortfall would be.
Okay.
So it would be recurring on an annual basis, as I understand it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Do we have an interconnection agreement for those chargers?
I don't believe we have an agreement with those chargers. It would be with ChargePoint.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that ChargePoint has to work with Eversource, and then we have to sign off that as well. And I'm wondering if we did that. It's a similar agreement to what the solar on top when we signed an interconnection agreement for the school for it to go right back to the school, and it's the official permission to connect it and to run. I'm sorry, it is the form that's the agreement that starts the production of the solar to go to the site. And so for chargers, there's something similar because you're tapping into the electricity for charging cars. I mean, that is a very poor explanation of it. But we had to wait a long time on the city's chargers to get up and going because we didn't have that agreement. And I'm just wondering if we can at least work on that agreement. I don't think it cost us anything to put like a deposit or whatnot. It was just getting the agreement.
Okay.
So I don't know who initiated the agreement for the solar on top of the building, but if somebody could let us know.
I can have Nick Bernier reach out to Michael Owens.
Excellent. Great. So let's first make sure we can turn them on, and we can go from there about paying.
Thank you.
Okay, any other, Deb, I just wanted to mention if for any reason there's any issues when you look at the recording, please feel free to reach out to me.
Okay, can I just ask one question on that matter? Is that
Absolutely.
John Atwater sitting next to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just can't
It's
like, make him out on my phone.
There, now you know, I laughed.
Yeah, now I know.
Yeah.
I would just want to, just maybe to preempt questions or what seems obvious is not. So connecting and getting the EV charges up and running are one thing, but I think that the public should know very clearly over and over again that the solar that's on top of that school comes nowhere close enough to cover the bill. So it's not as if that solar array can then automatically cover the chargers. First priority is the school bill itself, and while it's helpful, it will at no time cover the energy costs of the school's bill. So, before someone asks, good question, but that's where we are on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
If there's no further discussion, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
And John seconds it. Before I say all in favor, I just want to remind everyone that I believe there's a meeting either about to start or started right outside the room here, so we don't want to.
You want everyone on that call to be quiet.
Everybody,
I was like, what? Yeah, okay.
all in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Thank you all very much, everyone.
Bye.
Happy New Year too. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Good night.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.